In today's gospel, we get one of the more memorable encounters after the resurrection of Jesus, where he is walking on the shore of the Sea of Galilee, and some of the apostles are out fishing in their boat, and John recognizes Jesus on the seashore and exclaims, "It's the Lord!" To which Peter, being rather impetuous, as he always is, says, "Well, if that's Jesus, I got to go see him." And he jumps out of the boat and swims to shore to see Jesus as soon as possible. Now, that all sounds just so happy and wonderful, doesn't it? Problem is, well, let's think about the last time that Peter saw Jesus. Well, the last time they talked, or didn't talk, was Holy Thursday night in the courtyard of Caiaphas the high priest. And there's a little charcoal fire, and the woman says to Peter, "Hey, you're one of his apostles, aren't you?" To which Peter says, "No, I don't even know him." Another person, "You're one of his apostles, aren't you?" "Nope, not me. Never heard of him. Don't know him." "Who's this Jesus?" I don't know." Finally, a third person's like, "No, you are definitely one of his apostles. I know your accent. Clearly, you're one of his followers." And Peter swears, "I swear to God, I don't know this Jesus." And famously, the cock crows, and Peter realizes that, yeah, Jesus had predicted this, and Peter goes out and weeps bitterly. Fade to black, end of scene. Now, here we are. They're going to meet again. This time, Jesus is raised from the dead after that agonizing death, at which Peter would not be present. So, there's joy. Jesus is raised from the dead. But Peter is probably thinking, gosh, well, what does Jesus think about me? I'm excited to see him, but gosh, I don't know. Maybe he's mad at me. Maybe he's like, "Hey, Peter, yeah, I forgive you, but I really don't want to be your friend anymore. You denied me. Get out of my face." Who knows? Could have all happened. But today in the gospel, we get something very different. Instead, we get that famous passage where Jesus says to Peter 3 times, "Do you love me?" Pretty unexpected question. We would have thought, "Peter, what were you doing back there on Holy Thursday? Why weren't you at the cross on Good Friday? Where were you? Why didn't you pray when I asked you to? Why didn't you stay and wait and stay awake in the Garden of Gethsemane when I told you to? Why didn't you do this and why didn't you do that?" Nope, simple question. "Peter, do you love me?" And Peter's like, yeah, I love you." Okay, feed my sheep." Really? And 2 more times. "No, Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Notice he even uses his old name Simon rather than Peter. Peter means rock. So it'd kind of be like, yeah, maybe I'm not the rock anymore. Like, no, Jesus, I love you. Oh. And finally, the third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" And Peter gets upset. He's like, "Yes, you know everything. You know that I love you." So one thing we know for sure, Jesus is not asking Peter because he doesn't know the answer. Jesus knew Simon intimately before he was Peter. Before he called him, he knew what he was made of. He knew that he would deny him. He knew that he would go away. Jesus knew all this when he chose Peter, and still he chose him. So it's no surprise that on this day after the resurrection, Jesus knows that Peter loves him, and he's always loved him. And so Peter rightly says, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Now, what about the future? Now, we would think that, okay, this is great. They're reconciled. They're still going to be friends. Nice. But I think we would be probably justified in thinking that, Jesus chose Peter to be Pope, made him the rock on which the church would be built, but he blew it. I mean, he blew it about as bad as a Pope can blow it. I mean, he apostatized. He denied that he even knew Jesus. It doesn't get any worse than that if you're the Pope. So we would imagine that certainly Jesus could have come to Peter and said, like, "Yeah, I forgive you. We're good. But obviously, I got to get a new Pope," right? I mean, you can't be the rock now. You're not even worthy of being sand. You're so shaky. I got to get a new rock. Nope. Each time that Peter says, "Yeah, I love you," Jesus reminds him of his mission. "Go feed my sheep. Tend my lambs. Feed my sheep." In other words, "Peter, I knew you were going to mess up. You're a weak, miserable human being. Of course you messed up. I knew that. I knew that when I chose you to be the rock. So get back up. You still got to be the rock." What's your image when you mess up? Do you think, oh, Jesus is mad at you? Maybe he forgives you, but he's basically kind of disgusted with you secretly, doesn't trust you? It's not what he does with Peter. He says, Peter, I forgive you. I know you. So get back up. You're still the rock. I need you to go be Pope. And so he says to all of us, no matter what you've done, no matter how you messed up, Jesus still has a mission for you. He still needs you. He's not going to send you away. He knows that you love him. So, Peter, you're still the rock. And, well, all of you, you're still loved by God. So get back up and keep going today. And God bless you.